Okay, Thomas, this is the suspension for the People's Bridge hammock. This is the hammock. It's insulated with down, so I've got a big stuff bag for storage. It'll compress a lot more than this. The suspension consists of a whoopee sling and strap. These are the triangle lines for the foot end. Head end is up there, and I figured the best way to show it to you is simply to hang it up like this. This is what I would do. I would hang the suspension first. I store it separately in case it's wet. I also like to attach my tarp to this suspension, so I could do all of this under the shelter of the tarp and still deploy the hammock or take it down without getting it wet. It's an insulated hammock, as I said. The pink stuff is the Dobby 1.9. That's the hammock bed. The blue is the Argon, I think, or Ion, whatever Dutch is selling these days, that holds the insulation layer, which is a double layer of Primaloft with loose down on top of it that fills the spaces between the Primaloft and the hammock bed. The ends of each of the triangles suspension lines are soft shackles, so I put the diamond knot through the soft shackle and pull there, and find the other one, and do the same thing, and that takes care of the foot end. And the head end attaches the same way. The diamond knot through the soft shackle connector and it closes down. Like that. All you need now is some spreader bars. I made pockets at each end, each corner. This is built to take a trekking pole for a spreader. So one pocket is large for the handle and one is smaller for the tip, but it also can be used with a trail stick. This is a piece of apple sucker that I cut yesterday. And the easiest way to put in a spreader bar that doesn't compress like this is to fit it between the two legs of the corner attachment loop on one corner and then also on the other corner, and I have to remember to get the big end first. And then to put the big end into the pocket for trekking pole handle and pull it tight. Then stretch this until I can fit the small pocket over the end that I whittled smaller, like that. You may be able to see the foot end better. The big end goes between the strands of the corner connector and between the strands of the other corner connector and into the pocket. The lines holding the pocket are soft shackled or large headed onto the corner connection, so that slides down to tighten it up. And there it is. I've got the ridge line set so it's a pretty flat position. The knee ridge lets my feet hang lower so that it prevents hyperextension of my knees. That knee ridge will get less over time because the fabric, in addition to stretching, also creeps, which means it stretches and then doesn't go back. So on hammocks that I've been using for a year or more, the knee ridge is less pronounced, but it still gives me enough lift that my knees aren't hyperextended. The angle of the upper torso is determined by how tight the ridge line is, and it really feels more like a gathered end hammock than a bridge. It's not flat by any stretch. It's very comfortable. The other adjustment that I do is in my choice of a pillow. I find it really helps with these hammocks to let the hammock take care of your knees, your back and lower back, and then adjust your head and shoulder position by choosing the size of the pillow. And I usually ship these hammocks with an attached pillowcase that doubles as a hammock storage bag, stuff bag for backpacking. And then I just put something like a down vest into the pillowcase and adjust the size of the pillowcase to get the firmness I want. So right now I'm holding my head up in my hands. I would normally have a pillow under me and I'd flop back like this. Well, this is actually very comfortable just like this. The little cords on the side were an attempt to adjust the loft of the insulation under the hammock bed, and it's only partially successful. They pull up on baffles that are sewn to the bottom. There's nothing sewn to the top. It's an idea that I think will work, but I would have to make a much larger bottom section. You can adjust it by pulling on the bungees and sliding the toggles up. You may find that you find a position that you like best and just cut them off and leave them there, or even just... Okay, it's not too windy, so I'm going to attempt to narrate this live instead of doing it after the fact. Thomas, this is the prototype People's Bridge hammock I promised you. It's got a layer of insulation fitted underneath it, and between the insulation, which can be lifted up and down by the means of the little teeny bungees along this edge, there's about 4 ounces of down. That's a rough guess. I plucked 2 parkas to get the down. It's old stuff, and so not great. Later I'm going to show you how to evenly distribute it. There's a real simple technique. This one has temporary spreader bars made from apple suckers that I cut yesterday, and they work pretty well. It's designed to be used either with trail sticks like this or trekking poles for those like us who are maybe light enough for them to work. The pockets on the far side are smaller than the ones on this side, so that you can fit the tips of trekking poles into the far pockets if you put a wire nut in there to guard the middle tip. The pockets on this side are big enough to take the handles of trekking poles. The knee ridge in the middle looks pretty high, but it will stretch down when I get into it, And also, what I'm finding is that there's some creep over a period of time, that as you use these hammocks, that fabric across the center stretches and doesn't spring back. So the eventual height of that knee ridge is going to be lower than it looks like from here with the hammock not occupied. I've just taken a wild guess at the height and the amount of the length of the ridge line on this. That may need adjusting, but I'm going to check it out now and see what it looks like. So far so good. These trees are about 16 and a half feet apart. Because I'm using whoopee slings, I need a couple feet on each end. If you use straps the way Ragnall does, you can hang from trees much closer together, probably 12 feet. And right now this ridge line is slack when I sit in it, so it isn't adjusted right yet. But it's got a whoopee sling on this end, so I can tighten it up. That feels pretty good. The knee ridge makes sure that my heels aren't pressed, so I'm not hyperextending my knees. The fact that this hangs a little bit lower than a conventional bridge hammock, it's not a flat by any stretch, means that it treats my lower back nicely the way a gathered in hammock does. And the third thing is I don't have a pillow in this yet, but I'm finding that a pillow is definitely a plus, because I adjust the way my head and neck feel by choosing the pillow thickness and size, and that's probably a good thing to do. That feels pretty good. So now I'm going to show you how to take the spreader poles out and adjust the distribution of the down. Here's a close-up of the spreader at this end. This piece here is larch-headed to the strap at the corner of the hammock, and that is a diamond knot that's held in a soft shackle. When I take this down, I'll disconnect the hammock from the suspension by loosening this and taking it off. So the suspension all the way up to the tree and including the ridge line stores separately from the hammock bed, which, since that's sometimes wet and this is always kept dry, that works pretty well. The spreader bars slide between the two halves of the loop with a diamond knot there. I'm going to put the tripod down and take that apart now. Each of the two sides of the lines that hold the pockets are larkspurred onto the corner connection. So to get the spreader bar out, you slide the larkspur up to open up this area here and then pull it out. That helps get the handle of a trekking pole in there, and it helps get it past the trail basket of on the tip of a trekking pole, if that's what you use over here. So there's one. there are baffles attached to the blue insulating layer, but nothing sewn to the hammock bed itself. So to distribute the down evenly, I turn it over and hang it upside down. And what we frequently get after storage and packing is down will be concentrated here or here. And the easiest way to distribute it evenly is just to hang it like this without the spreader bars, with hands on both sides, and just smooth it. You get approximately the same thickness